So, the eastern region of Hessenmark has long been shrouded in mystery and legend. For years, the area was plagued by a mysterious illness that claimed the lives of countless inhabitants, leaving the land barren and desolate. But now, to the relief of all who lived there, the plague has finally been eradicated, and the people are now slowly starting to rebuild their lives. News of the Plague 3 region has spread far and wide, drawing the attention of adventurers and curious souls from all corners of the country. Yet, even as the people of eastern Hessenmark work to rebuild, rumors and legends persist about what lies beyond the borders of the region. Ancient civilizations, long forgotten and locked away, are said to exist deep within the forest and mountains that surround the area. Some say that these civilizations hold untold riches and secrets, while others warn of dangerous creatures and dark magic that guard the ancient ruins. The ruler of the eastern province is Jarl Hano Heimerad, and he is a harsh and uncompromising figure, known for ruling with a iron fist. He is a cruel and callous leader who cares little for the opinions or feelings of his subjects. His only concern is to maintaining his grip on power and ensuring that the taxes are paid. Those who cross him or defy his orders are often subject to harsh and cruel punishment, meant to serve as a warning to those or others who might be tempted to follow in their footsteps. The Jarl has expressed a great interest over the new region, and any adventurer knows what that means the region will be locked down and controlled by the Jarl very soon. But for now, the region is lawless and a land of opportunities. And that's where you come in. You have been traveling and walking for what have felt like an eternity through the dense pine forest. The towering trees loomed over you, casting long shadows on the mossy green forest floor. The air was thick with the scent of pine needles and damp earth, a musty aroma that encased everything. The weather had turned cold and wet, with a constant drizzle that soaked through any and all clothes. The journey had been long and audacious, and the constant walking had taken its toll on your bodies. Exhausted and achy, your feet sore from trudging through the soft mire to muddy terrain. As the two, you have been traveling together for weeks, if not months, and the fatigue is starting to wear heavily. Sleep was always restless and uncomfortable, with the cold, uneven ground providing little relief for weary bodies. And as you have been trudging on, pushed through the fatigue and discomfort, each step bringing you closer to the end goal, the last known village and tavern. And as so, the scent of wood smoke began to drift towards you. Even the smell of baked goods was carried over on the cold breeze. The rustling of leaves and occasional caw of a distant raven are the only sounds that break the eerie silence. Beyond the somber veil of the forest, you catch sight of a cluster of sturdy log houses. These humble abodes, weathered by time and the harsh elements, stand as stoic sentinels against the encroaching darkness. The houses, seemingly swallowed by the forest, blend seamlessly with the surroundings. Moss and ivy cling to the log walls, adding a age and weathered charm. A heavy silence prevails, broken only by the creaking of shutters and occasional whispers of anxious voices. The grand tavern, standing at the end of the village, emits a flickering glow that beckons any and all of you. You walk slowly into said village. So, the two of you, a description from you guys.
I think I am maybe leading this little charge.
Mm.
Um, a a man with very obviously pointed ears. Hair is black, a little too long, but it works. He has very fitted armor. He's kind of slim, average height. He has a considerable satchel on his back with a bow and various tools of his trade.
And for Beth.
Um, she seems to be kind of loaded down with stuff. Dressed kind of like a scholar, with nice, but now well worn cloth robes. Her backpack kind of squirms every now and then, oddly. She's carrying a scythe, and she seems to be kind of short, black hair, and you can obviously tell that she's a northerner. And on first guess, it would seem like she must be here to hopefully study about some of these ruins and stuff that seem to dot the landscape.
And you walk towards the tavern, or any specific other interest that you have along the sort of path straight to the tavern?
Just gonna sort of turn my head backwards a little bit, say loud enough for you to obviously hear it, but not shouting. You probably want to keep that thing quiet until we know sort of how people are, gonna react.
I'm sure he'll be fine. If not, then I can just take him outside for a moment. But he'll be fine. No worries.
And you make your way towards the last building, the tavern. And as you push the door open, you get the smell of everything within, the roasting of meat, the stew and hot bread, mingling with the aroma of burning wood. Inside the tavern, it's dimly lit, flickering candles and lanterns, each casting its own sort of shadows onto the rough hewn wooden walls. Several patrons sit at different wooden tables scattered throughout the grand room, some nursing mugs of ale while others tuck into the hearty plates of food. At the bar, a surly looking barkeep polishes his mugs and listens to with a half ear to the complaints of a patron who has probably had one too many. The mood is lively, not rowdy. The patron seems to enjoy whatever they have, except for a spread out number of locals, around 10 or less. There are a few odd patrons here. In one corner, a group of rough hew looking brigands huddled together, their voices low as they plot and scheme. In another, a lone traveler sits, studying a map spread out before him, a tankard of ale to his elbow. Lastly, a jester sleeping in a corner by himself with an empty tanker in one hand and a scepter in the other. Left is a set of chairs by a window in the side pocket of the room, cleaned table as well. And that's where we are.
You want to claim us a table? I'll get us something to eat. I don't know about you, but I'm starving.
Yeah, you'll find something that, I don't know, probably isn't covered in whatever. I'm just gonna do like a 180 real quick, scan the shadows, the corners, to see if anyone is pretending not to be staring at us.
Yeah, make an observation. Yeah, without a doubt. The only people here that really looks to kind of size you up are the brigands. Other people here seems to be more worried about what they have to eat. The adventurer, the lone sort of character, is studying his map. The jester seems to sleep over the table he's with. Other than that, the patrons doesn't really mind new people. They've probably seen so many new come and go otherwise, or nonetheless. So, looking back a little bit towards the street of village houses, all of them are probably people living here. And as soon as you glance over, if by any chance you kind of catch someone, they just close their windows and they scurry back into their homes. Something is troubling them. At one corner, roughly where you are, is a bulletin board of just notes as well.
I'm. Is it the kind of stuff where someone has put this on the board and expected a person who would be interested in what it says to take it off the board with them?
Yeah, posters, notes, and it just by glancing at it, a lot of this has happened, and these are the things that is important right now, and some sort of notes bear similarity, a lot of them, but you're just glancing, you're not really reading it. But yeah, more a poster board, maybe.
Okay. I'm gonna grab what looks to be the least covered in mold.
Hmm. From the board itself.
Yeah.
There are two normal notes and lots of handwritten notes that bear the same sort of written notice of missing people. The other bigger posters are of some sort of horse thief. And the other one is related to the missing people. But the horse thief has like a crude description to it and a little bit more information. The third one I would say is something about a caravan, but you're not really still reading. You're more glancing over. But you did good on the roll.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the board going, which one of these has been here the shortest amount of time, and I'm gonna grab that one.
It's probably the caravan. Yeah. So nick it down. Or
Grab
eating
that.
it.
I mean, I'm hungry, but yeah, I know. But we'll see what's being served. I might eat it. We'll find out.
And
sort of move this way.
I'm being an idiot. How do you move? It won't let me.
you have to make sure that the left buttons are of your portrait or like a profile token, and a sort of select. So both the top buttons needs to be selected.
Both are? I'm not sure why it. Oh, did I do that or did it?
I did
Nope.
that.
Yeah, if I try to do anything, it just makes a box.
Yeah, box is to kind of mark a lot of things, but you can't mark your own.
No, it won't let me. It won't let me actually move it. It just tries to like highlight things.
Can you move that one then?
Nope. It's doing again just the highlight.
Will it work now? Because you're an observer, you're not really. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that time it worked. Sorry.
No. It's more my problem or fault. You're just a observer to the character, not the owner. But sure.
Thank you.
So you walk up to the barkeep himself.
Excuse me, sir. Like to order whatever meal and drink you have on hand.
He, with like just a slow point, just points out a larger bowl that is still in the fire pit. Would probably be like a stew. And then a larger plate of different cuts of meat sitting by the bar desk itself. And he kind of like looks back with a wandering gaze. Definitely have clocked out a long time ago as a barkeep. So he just looks at you, wondering if you're gonna pick either or, and not really talking.
The stew looks fantastic. I would love 2 bowls of stew, and then whatever drink you have, ale or something like that. Something that's not water.
He just nods and starts to walk away, and the patron that still is complaining seems not to care that the barkeep is away. He kind of looks over to you and says with like a very drunken state, like, you agree, right? The problems are very.
Oh yes, very. Yes, very. Can I get 2 of those, barkeep?
He just nods as he's like walking away towards like the kitchen area, like slowly.
Excellent. Yeah, I take a look at the other patron. Does he look like a local, or does he look like somebody who's kind of
Definitely like the town local.
So, what's the very, troublesome problem? Whatever.
Well, people are ending up missing. We are losing people. They're vanishing before our very eyes.
Before your very eyes. What do you mean? Like, Or
I
is
wake
this
up
wolf
and yet
or
another is not home. Like they've gone out and never came back.
like who?
The houses that stand in the village are now becoming more and more echoing empty. Look at the board. People are being missing all over.
See the board from here?
Yeah,
Does it have like a boatload of missing posters?
for sure. The large amount of missing people are scattered among like other notices that have been put up. Um, a
From
lot
here,
of. Hmm?
sorry.
No, go.
I was just going to ask from here, can I tell if a lot of the people seem to be younger, or is there anything similar in? I mean, do they have like
Yeah,
stacks
most
them
of
or
them seems to be younger. Boys and girls, late teens or early 20s. Like there is none that is like seem to be older. Um, there are name and description and kind of what they look like.
I look at the drunk. Yeah, it looks like it's a lot of young people. Maybe they just ran off together. What makes you think they're going missing is something nefarious?
As the plague has been lifted, things have started to seep out. We've seen strange beasts lurk at the night. If you stay here, be on your guard.
What kind of beasts?
I don't really.
Wolves?
Maybe. Maybe wolves. I lock my door and I hear scratching like claw marks. Seen them.
Well, what, like on your door, on your
Oh,
windows?
for the. Yes, the door.
How high up do they go?
Very high. Like they. Yay high, and they makes a notion of maybe mid high, a little bit higher up.
Sounds like it could just be dogs.
Yes, but dogs wanting in at night. Not good.
You don't keep your dogs inside?
We don't have dogs. We don't have any animals.
No cows, no chickens, nothing?
No. We trade with the caravans. The food we eat here are from the beasts the brigands bring. I would say that the Hollowmoor is not what it used to be. But
And
look, not me. You're probably wanting to eat, and you see the two bowls and a two bigger tankards of ale. Let not. I'm not. Be in. I'm not going to be in your way.
all right. Uh, well, it was a pleasure talking to you. Can I at least have your name?
I go by the name of Bormer.
Former?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you. Um, and as soon as the barkeep brings the food over, I will snatch it up and
Hmm.
see if my companion has managed to find a table yet. Oh, and of course, pay the barkeep.
Yeah, all in all, it'll be, say, 12 silver.
Great. I hand the silver over to him
Hmm.
and give him an extra for a tip, and then try and carefully balance everything over as I
Has
join my
Ebonheart found a table, or the only table? There are
Yes,
a small table too.
was making my way sort of door, then sort of close to the jester and like past the brigands. I end up sitting like here or something. And as I'm passing by, just gonna pretend like I'm not listening to what they're saying.
Yeah, you see that the one marked L is somewhat of a leader, a woman. All of them in their mid 30s plus, veterans, scarred, and as soon as anything is moving, they kind of hush down, and they have pieces of things on the table that they clear up and hide behind their hands, palms. And as you pass, they are very much so just looking around the room for either Beth or anyone else. Um, so you definitely see that they are keeping to themselves, whatever it is.
I sit down and I will pretend to be really interested in what this poster says.
Hmm.
Yeah, seeing him find a spot, then I will head on over and take a seat across from him, trying to carefully balance everything as I set it on the table,
Yeah.
and then just kind of like haphazardly toss my backpack into the bench next to me.
And as you read the poster, um, it's crude, simple sketch of a male figure, basic description of his features. The reward is 200 silver for information leading to his capture. Um, there is no date or time frame or anything that could show or tell how long it's been up, or if it's done this year even. But it looks like one of the more newer posters that have been put up.
Yeah, just put it on and slide across. Work, I guess. Was the least ancient thing I could find.
Yeah, looking down at it and seeing what exactly it is. The guy at the bar was mentioning that a boatload of younger people have been going missing. Um, said that something's been like scratching on their doors or something. Pretty drunk, but definitely seems like something to keep an eye out for around here. And if these are all connected, which, judging from how many people have gone missing, could be that we could get a really nice penny. Does the poster say anything different? Anything that the guy at the bar hadn't mentioned?
The poster itself shows a sort of descriptive part of who the thief would be, the description of, but not so much more than that. The last known location was the main road leading into um, the um, the new open lands.
Wait, thief or?
Yeah, a horse thief on the
Oh, I'm
poster.
so sorry. I totally misunderstood the poster. I'm so sorry. I don't know how I managed to do that. But yes.
Someone has stolen a horse.
uh, yeah, that sounds like it could be a good one to get familiar with the area as well. Um, yeah. Looking over it, does it give it well? Actually, I guess no. Never mind. Yeah, the horse thief sounds like a good one to get started with.
It's one thing about this place that it's a little unusual. I sort of lean like a little to my right, and I like just barely look past you. This doesn't look like a royal court, so why the jester?
That's a good point. I hadn't actually even thought about that. She totally like doesn't even think it, just turns around and like stares at him. Uh his clothing, does it look relatively clean or is it really dirty and scruffy? Is it obvious he's traveled here recently or?
You look upon this figure slumped over the table, snoring fairly loudly, or enough at least for everyone to hear it. Dressed in this faded, tattered outfit, clearly seen better days. The jester's clothes are a patchwork of bright colors: yellow, green, orange, but they are now faded and frayed, holes and stains visible in many places. The jester's hat is particularly striking: large, floppy brim, and bells that once jingled merrily but now hang limply. The hat is adorned greatly with a variety of trinkets, including feathers, ribbons, and a sort of figure or toy of a strange monster or creation of sort. More than that, it's hard to tell from here. And you look back to Ebenhart, or
Yeah. Maybe judging from his clothes, I'd say he's definitely not been in court for a while. Maybe he got kicked out or something?
How far away is like the nearest place that would have a jester?
probably there is a bigger, like as close as you could get, like a city or town. They had proper walls around it. They had city guards or guards at least, and it were. Let me have a look. See, It was probably several weeks ago. That's probably where you started your journey.
His like the color of his clothes. Do they match like any nobleman's like colors, or do they just seem to be kind of random colors?
More random. There is nothing that kind of strikes as like this is,
Connecting to a
yeah,
certain chord or
no.
anything. Okay. It's definitely odd.
Yeah.
Does he seem to have anything else with him other than just, like his little scepter thing? Like any
You probably
bag
saw,
or anything?
yeah, he had a smaller bag by his foot, but nothing major like a real backpack or anything.
How does the bag look? Is it in
Same condition.
so kind of rough and patchy?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I hmm. I take a couple sips of my drink and then like taking a quick glance to see anybody around me who might be looking, just to make sure that they aren't. I'm gonna accidentally tip my drink over. Um, then, as the stuff like pours all over me and the table and everything, I will quickly get up and I'm going to walk past. Which side is his bag on?
Uh, Back. So towards the bar end.
So it's actually on his back. It's not like sitting on the floor.
It's probably, yeah, here.
But is it on the
Not on
floor? Or is
him.
it like
Yeah, not on
on
him.
him?
Yeah, not on.
Okay. Yeah. Then I'm going to like slowly walk this way and pretend that my foot got caught in the strap and kick the bag as I like try and fall over.
What is the intent with the kick? Do you want to kick out the content or kick so that you take it, or?
Kick out so that the contents spills out.
Hmm. Um, the bag rolls over and out comes several of these smaller journal books bound in leather and with like a leather strap around them.
Does the
Uh,
jester wake up?
we will we will see. Uh, nope.
I quickly like lean down to gather some of the notebooks back into his bag and try to slip one of them up the sleeve of my robe.
Yeah, there's no problem.
Excellent. After I do that, I put the bag right next to him, apologize to him, not that he actually knows, and then continue up to the barkeep to ask for some kind of rag or something to clean up the mess on the table.
Yeah, he kind of goes to the lower part of it and puts up a fairly nice, clean rag.
I grab it up, head back to the table, and as I take the rag and like am wiping the table down, I try to slip the book over to Ebonheart from under my sleeve.
Mm-hmm. Make a observation.
How do I do that? Let's see.
It's on your stats first page.
Okay. 13.
Ebonheart can roll as well.
Huh.
So you're trying to roll under the number there.
Well, shoot.
Ew, okay. I don't think so.
No. You, Ebonheart, you get this small book that you could potentially think that she got from her sort of charade.
I'm just gonna like reach over and like cover the book with my arm as I pretend to go like, oh, you missed a spot right over there. I'm gonna put my arm down and with my elbow, I'm just gonna slide the book backwards.
Mm-hmm. So you can, yeah, you have a book.
Sorry?
No, you have a book that's
Cool. I finish wiping down the table, then quickly take the cloth back to the tavern keeper before resuming my seat.
and the adventure far from your table, but someone that you could see is making a little, almost like flip and turn things around, sort of when you don't want people to see what you have. Whatever he had in front of him, he just like flips it over and put his mug on top of it, and he puts some stuff on in his like hand, and it looks like he really needs to go outside. He has probably taken a couple of too many drinks, so he kind of looks at his table and then starts to walk fairly quickly out. See if it's, no, it's then no, it's this. Yeah, this is the thing. So he kind of walks out.
Does he leave whatever he put on the mug where it is before he?
Yeah, he left almost everything because he couldn't really hold on to it all. So it's probably like the coin purse and the belt and so forth. but a lot of the stuff is still there.
But he did take like most of his stuff with him.
That's true. The jester happened to walk away.
I was just about to ask if the jester had walked away too.
Everyone is leaving. Anything you want to do to said occasion, or you want to see where it plays out?
We both noticed this, or was it just me?
He kind of stood up, and the face of someone that really needs to go is very obvious. Yes, probably drank several ales before you came into the door.
Did both of us notice him doing this, putting this thing under the mug?
You're not sure if Beth noticed, but
Okay. I will just sort of look down at the poster again and like cover my face a little bit. Yeah, the guy who just went outside, there's just something underneath his mug. It looks very interesting. He didn't want anyone to see what it was.
Do you need a distraction or something, or are you wanting me to do something? She kind of like tries to mumble.
Risky. If it's gone when he comes back, he's gonna get a little annoyed, I think.
Ew.
Okay. We're gonna get up and go. Let's go up and ask the barkeep. You wouldn't happen to have lodgings of some kind?
and he just gives out a little bit of a sigh. Yeah, upstairs, about 5 silver per night.
Right. I'm just gonna see what the situation is. I'll come back down.
Hmm.
Just move in here and walk past and try and see if I can just see what is sort of tucked beneath the mug.
It's a medium size, like almost 2 A4 piece of papers put together map. The sides are starting to curl back up a little bit, so underneath you definitely see like land markings and notes about whatever it is. So a map.
I'll go upstairs and I don't know, give it a few minutes and then turn around and come back down.
Mm-hmm. You have to basically walk into the stairs again too.
Oh. All right. Yeah, looks good. How much did you say it was?
For you, 5.
All right. So the rooms, is it a common room? Locks?
Nothing fancy here, I'm sorry.
All right. And so for two?
If you want 2 beds in one room, or I have that. Otherwise, more beds in one room, or just one in one room. That's all up to you.
It's just good with 2 beds in one room.
Right. I could maybe part, say, 8 silver. And he
Alright.
will put a key up and he will say that it's the room that goes into an alcove mid door.
I put the coin down, grab the key. Well, I guess we're staying the night. There's some maps, maybe some notes. I didn't get a good look.
And I would say it's about that time the adventurer comes darting back in, looking like suspiciously at everyone, and takes off his mug and rolls back up the map and try to cover it as well as possible with his own body. And quickly thereafter kind of lose track on the surroundings and are more staring in, making notes on the map.
I wonder if he's staying here. Or if there's somewhere else he could be renting a room.
How big of a place is like this, I don't know, village, town thing?
You would probably say it's up towards 8, 10 at the most, maybe houses. So a tight nearly 20 plus people living here.
And how many people are missing on the board?
Several. And
I would say the odds of him staying here are pretty high.
Yeah, you see that he kind of takes his stuff and walks upstairs and basically have taken his lower part of the doubly jacket, folded it up and put all the stuff in it, like almost like an apron up, filled with all his trinkets and stuff. And he went upstairs.
Answered that for sure.
Okay. How creaky are the floors in this place?
It's not as creaking as you would think, as it's very robust. So if you're light on the feet, you wouldn't make that much of a noise, no.
I want to try and listen specifically for the footsteps of this man. Try and suss out where above me he's going.
Mm-hmm. You're hearing how he walks kind of over everyone, which is like here. And after that, he will walk like over everyone, like Beth and Jester. And you're guessing that his room is fairly close. As soon as he kind of walks over, there is an opening of a door.
Waiting to see if a door closes and then locks again.
Yeah, he makes his way into his room. You would assume that looking at the layout on the top one, you would fairly quickly get which room he has.
So, what do you think exactly is in this? I guess technically it's a stew, but it looks more like I don't know. It's been eaten once or twice.
I'm trying not to think about that. Oddly enough, the gentleman I spoke to up there seemed to imply that they got all of their meat from brigands rather than having actual agricultural animals here. I'm not going to question it, and I'm just pretending that it is deer. Yeah. Really, really overly done deer. Yes. She like stirs the stew for a second.
I'm gonna go for the biggest piece of meat that I can dig up. I'm gonna give it a good chew. Tastes like chicken.
Doesn't everything taste like chicken? What doesn't taste like chicken? Anybody else actually eating the stew?
If anyone else is, or what do you say?
If anybody else is eating the stew, or where they are? Okay.
Yeah, most people are. Some have taken like more the roasted meat, but a lot of them are just eating or have eaten. So you're not the only ones, and people are not looking at you weirdly and waiting for each bite.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just dig in.
It tastes probably like just chicken. Yeah. It has no real flavor other than like a broth and some mystery meat and whatever sort of root or vegetable thing they mixed in. Everything is very soft and just falls apart. It's probably been boiling for quite a while.
Well, at least it's nice and hot. And not jerky or hardtack. So that's good at least.
So here's an idea. I have a pretty good idea where our friend is staying. If we maybe wanted to see about that map and those notes.
A good idea to me. Uh, yeah, I definitely want to look through these notes, see if there's any idea what's what he's doing here and stuff. Do you know which room it is that we have, or you have, whichever it is?
Yeah, I know where ours is.
Assuming you're done with your meal, you want me to take it up top and take it back to the barkeep real quick and then read up on stuff?
Well, I was thinking maybe we give it until sometime early morning when maybe they're asleep. Maybe they won't hear the door open from the outside.
Sounds like a plan. Take a moment to look things over. Might be a window, or I don't know what the outside of this place looks like. Does it have like one of those little roof overhangs that you'd be able to pass like from window to window with? Skang?
Yeah, I showed you the sort of town or village picture. Show all.
Yes. Excellent.
So the longer house is some sort of alms house, and the rest of the houses are more for the people that lives here. The tavern for this one is the top blue, and there isn't much that you can kind of like jump if you're not like using magic powers from house roof to house roof.
All right. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea to me. I guess I'll just go ahead really quick and finish up with my soup. Stew. And real quickly take the stuff back to the barkeep before coming back over to the table.
And as you put the pieces back on to the barkeep to have, you hear rustling as the jester is moving up. He looks towards his sort of jester-like scepter, and he whispers into it as he's sharing a secret.
And hold on, let me move over here. Can I hear anything of it, or is it just too far away?
You can roll an observation.
Yeah.
Okay. You hear him saying something of the voice of what do you think? And it's almost as if the scepter is talking back. It's a different voice. Through perilous valleys and mountains steep, an adventure ventured his dreams to keep. Seeking a treasure that glitters so bright, fool's gold it was with a deceiving light. And the jester nods, deceiving. And he is starting to put together the bag that he had before his very feet.
Definitely an interesting one. Um, does he do anything else? Is it literally just he talks to the scepter and then starts getting his stuff as if to leave?
Yes, he is starting to walk like slightly away, and the backpack he has with him. That wasn't my intent to delete that thing. So he is also starting to walk up towards the stairs.
I'm just gonna stay here for a second. Boromir? I'm not sure how you pronounce it. All I can think of is Boromir
Yeah.
from Lord of the Rings. I'm going to strike up a brief conversation with him, kind of like lean my side against the bar and try and keep an eye on the jester as he walks up the stairs. I'm going to see if I can see which room he goes into.
You see that the top section has like a sort of almost like a catwalk, like a balcony looking
Mhm.
over. It seems to be a place where people can sit as well, but there are none there at the moment. So he walks on the very top part, much like the adventure did, and he walks what would be like over Ebonheart and over where you sat, where he sat, and the more left section is where the rooms are, and further down, and it's probably somewhere more centered over the kitchen area to maybe like here-ish somewhere. You
Thank
hear
you.
the door kind of opens and closes.
Excellent. Okay. Um, Looking at Boromir, Boromir,
Boromir?
Boromir. I saw that there was a thing about a horse thief in this area. Can you tell me anything about him? Has he struck previously, or is this his first offense?
I saw that the adventure came with a horse. I think he lost it. Yes, he was the one who put the poster up. He knows about the horse thief.
adventure.
Good amount of silver is being brought up.
Yes, it did look like a decent amount. You said it was an adventure.
Yes, that one that just walked up. We get
Oh.
many people moving around, but as of late, not as many adventures. So he is the only one. Now you two, and he kind of looks over the shoulder towards Ebonheart, are now the ones that live here.
Well, thank you for your help, and I'll back over to the table again.
This is the time when the group of brigands are starting to stand up. It's a good mix of 6 men and women, each armed with swords, daggers, bucklers, heavier leather armor. They look battle hardened, and scars, tattoos marking their skin. The leader of the group, a fierce looking woman, dark, short hair, and has this piercing gaze. Still sitting, leans back into her chair and seems to, with very ease, with like hand gestures, giving out orders to the rest. And they just nods as they're getting their information, orders, or whatever it might be. And they are starting to walk out as well. And I will kind of just, this will look weird, but the whole section. And these as well. And left is this leader woman of the brigands. She sits and contemplates a little bit. And if you guys do nothing, she will walk out of her seat. Is there something you want to interact with?
I would like to, as she begins giving these, silent orders, I want to see if she or any of them looks at me or Beth when it's happening.
No. And you do recognize the style. It's a very common sort of hand gesturing that even the thief guilds use. This one is probably one that you guys have used, but since like ages ago changed over to something new and then changed and then changed. But this is like a very crude one, and you recognize like some of them but not all of them. They probably made up their own sort of language, but you do see and understand that they are talking about going to a camp, something about a camp, either setting one up, sleeping in a camp, going to the camp. There's something about a camp, and some of them have instructions to do something when they get there.
Do the other patrons react any to them leaving?
No. They
So
tend
they're a
to.
pretty regular group then here.
Yeah, they are fairly regular for this place, it seems. And yeah, she will walk over to the side of the to the bar and will have a very low discussion with the barkeep. And it is some sort of discussion that seemed to not trouble the barkeep. It's almost as he's getting information that he either know and or just waited to hear or whatever it might be. He just nods as she's talking very low. Boromir just talks like to the barkeep, even though he doesn't interact back. Anything you guys want to do at that scene? Or just want to continue?
We can't hear anything that they're saying, can we?
No, not from there, no.
Okay. Has Ebonheart finished eating?
Yep.
I'll take his stuff and take it up to the barkeep, see if as I get closer, if I can hear anything that they're saying.
And as you get in closer, you do hear that Boromir is still talking about how bad the weather have been, or the constant clawing on the doors. And the barkeep doesn't listen to him at this point. He's more listening to the leader of the brigand. And she is, by the end of it, saying that we will make haste. This new place is interesting. And as you're coming up, she kind of looks over to your direction as someone enters her peripheral and looks back at the barkeep. We'll talk more later. And she starts to leave.
I set the bowl and stuff down on the counter with a bit of a clatter, and I'm like, oh, that was absolutely delicious. Thank you so much. And does the barkeep react any to her leaving? Does he?
He just drops his gaze as she leaves and kind of looks back at you, and I'm happy that you found it pleasant.
Yes. Grade A. Perfect stew. Thank you. And then I'll just scurry back over to the table again.
Yeah, you see that most patrons are now starting to pack up. And the barkeep is kind of trying to say that, Boromir, you have to go to the almshouse now. It's closing. And they have this little bit of back and forth. One last ale, please. They're starting to banter a little bit about that.
I'll quickly relay the little bit that I've overheard. And I will let Ebonheart know about how apparently the gentleman whose horse was stolen was actually the guy with the map that we saw earlier. And also that Jester is really weird. He was talking to that scepter like it was an actual person. He even did the voice for it. Did this weird little rhyme about fool's gold, and it was odd.
Well, I mean, I still have this piece of paper that you found. So maybe we retire and maybe we see what this is.
Yeah, I agree. um, you'll have to show me where the room is, though. I have no idea.
Yeah, I think I will lead upstairs, show where our room is, and I'm gonna point out where the map man has his room.
Yeah, you can kind of move up the stairs and you'll see the new map. Oh, it's now you can.
Yeah.
You have to land on it.
There we go.
Now we can activate it. So you
All
are
right.
guessing that the adventure was in this one, and the jester is in this one. Yours is definitely down here. It's the one in the alcove, so to speak. This door.
Sorry, I'm waiting for it to load. It's being very stubborn for me.
Yes, let me know when it's loaded up for you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's on 98% and it's just like frozen. I hit reload once already and it still just is going to 98% and is like, nope, no more than that.
You'll get there when you get there, no matter what.
If you just want to move me to where
Yeah.
Evan Hart is in for the meantime, I can just, yeah.
So you are showing the way, or in a specific you want to do here, Ebonheart?
I'm just gonna point out that up, that's Mr. Map, and down here is your friend, and we are down here.
Yeah. Just loaded. In a storage room.
Yeah, small beds.
Oh, excellent. Yes.
And you definitely feel the sort of tightness of the space, it's clear that this room is meant for two, and even that, it's quite cramped. Walls are with the same sort of feel as the rest, this sort of rough hewn wood. There is a small window that lets in a bit of light, but not much else. Despite the size, the room is well arranged. The beds are to a side, and you also see that there is a small little um, chest at the foot of the bed. Assume that you could store your belongings there. Doesn't look particularly secure. No lock. Just a simple chest with a lid. Uh, you have a small table with a pitcher of water and a basin to wash your face in the morning. The water is cool, clear. You can see that the basin has been scrubbed clean. And that's about it. Nothing more.
Okay. I'm gonna give Beth the key, and then I'm gonna use my little tools, and I'm gonna practice on our lock.
All right. Yeah. Being accustomed to most locks, these are fairly simple. You would probably need to put a EP to make it quietly. Otherwise, you could probably just lockpick it normally. But it takes you a little bit of time, for sure.
Looking out the window really quick, do I see anything out there? I know that um, Boromir had been saying something about some kind of animal scratching on the doors. Do I see anything remotely wildlife-like outside of the
No,
window,
and
or
and
just in the
as
village?
yeah, you recall that the sounds of the forest were eerily quiet as you approached the village. The only thing that you heard was this distant raven flying away. Other than that, there were no birds or movement into the dense forest, which
All right.
is unnaturally strange. You came from like one section of the road, and that one splits the small village apart, and it leads onwards into the unknown, a place of just untraveled places.
Okay. Um, I guess I want to take out the little journal that I stole from the jester and try and read through it really quick.
Mm-hmm. And you not all, just for you. You get a leather book now. Popped up, right?
Yeah, I guess I'll sit on one of the beds for a moment and read through it real quick.
Mm-hmm. And Emnart, what do you want to do? As you see, she picks up a book and starts to flip through it.
I'm just gonna keep my head against the door and listen for footsteps or I don't know, chamber pot moving or someone I don't know, putting down a glass or something. Just want to sort of gauge when activity in the other rooms dies down.
Hmm. Yeah, you hear close to your room, to your right, a sort of snoring. Um, and after a while, it gets very, very quiet. The most sounds came from below you, from the kitchen, where the barkeep basically put all the dishes into a wash and just let it, yeah, marinate overnight. Easy to wash tomorrow. Um, and he locked up, and he has probably a room underneath you by the kitchen, you're guessing. And it takes a couple of moments, and it just stayed quiet. A couple of snoring sawmills to your right. That's about it. But no other movement. Your idea?
I want time to pass, so I'm just gonna now and again just looking over to see how close Beth is to finishing reading the whatever it is.
Yeah, you see that she is more or less kind of skimming through it, not really reading the book, but more like trying to get a sense of it, a good idea of what it could be. Inside this sort of leather bound thing lays a book on its own, so the leather bound was just to keep weather out. Um, the book is fairly thick and has very old styled bindings to it. And have you read all of it, Vamp?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you should
I
see that she kind of closes the book up after a while.
And
definitely going to need some more research. There's a couple words I recognize, but I don't really remember from what. Uh, unless you know the word omni.
And for Ebonheart, it's something that strikes like a chord through. And for the mountain elves, Omni has been the word for the most chorest of some sort of dark seal. You're not sure what it is because you have never really taken part of the culture of the mountain elves. You have chosen another life, but you know that deep hidden is these seals that hold something out. And in history, Amni was used as a word for the mountain elves not being partaking in it or opening it, or there were just a selective few that actually knew how to or knew what it was. And definitely no one really knows what lied behind it, but it's definitely a seal that held back evil of grandeur.
I will regale her with what I can recall about the word and the context.
It also is making repeated mentions of Titans, Watchers, a Silver Elf. I just, unfortunately, there's just a lot of it that is going to need research, I think. This is not a book I would expect a jester to have. Definitely no joke.
Yeah, Ebenard sees that Beth is kind of struck by what she has in front of her.
I definitely would be interested in seeing some of the other books. This was the only one that I could sneak away, but there was several in his bag. Do I get a feeling of, like, does this seem to be part of like a series maybe, or
Now, this is
other?
probably a start, um, not a volume, but definitely start of telling something of these watchers, protectors, and what role the silver elves had with whatever it is. It doesn't lead on to Chronicle number 2 or the next book.
All right, interesting. Hmm. Definitely want to see the other books in this collection. I guess I am going to set the book aside for now, unless Ebenhart would like to go through it really quick. And I'm going to take Mr. Nibbles out for a little bit. And I guess give him like a bit of jerky from some of my supplies and just see if I can get him to like learn how to crawl and stuff, if that makes sense.
Oh, it's me who is kind of muted. Is it so that you guys want to do the downtime, and or is it so that Ebenhart want to do something before that? Any action you want to go for before going tucking in?
Yeah. wait until the small hours of the morning, and we're gonna see if we can't enter at least one other room.
Mm-hmm. As in the ones that are occupied, or more the ones that you haven't heard of that people might be in.
Well, initially I was thinking Mr. Mapman, but this gesture is very interesting.
So yeah, you know that he is kind of the room beside your room. So you want to try to go through that one?
Yes. There is a keyhole, I assume.
For sure. Do you want to take it careful, or do you want to just enter straight away?
No, we're gonna be real quiet about this.
Mm. And normally it would kind of cost you a sort of endurance point, but as it's not like a combat scene or a specific scene, it doesn't really matter. But you make it so that it opens and you could slide it slowly, if so. And in there you see a empty bed as you open it up first.
Gonna peek in and look over. Just give it just a moment. Just stare at him.
Yeah. You see that he is laying on top of the bed. He hasn't like undressed or anything. He's just laying there, kind of like on his back, really giving out a good snore. But to his side, he has put the scepter of like a wooden stick and a jester-like mask face figure doll. It looks very like him in a way. That has its own place on the other bed. The sack that he had, um, you do not see. So you're guessing it's in one of the chests.
All right. Just to try and maximize my odds here. Could I use an EP to go for the light feats so that I can remain completely silent when moving?
Mm-hmm. Right. You could, yeah, in this case, you could take one EP for making the door open without any problem. Then you can use another EP for the trait of very silently moving. So now we have used two.
Yes. And there are 3 boxes, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. And number uno.
As you very easily open it up, it only has a couple of extra pillows and some blankets, very neatly folded and just put to like a nice racked folded way. So nothing that is of interest for you.
By the by, I'm assuming it is pitch black in here.
Slightly, there is a little bit of light coming in from the window. So it's doable to see. But it's not. I mean, should one awake, it would be very difficult to make out who is here or engage. But if you've been here for a while, it's definitely giving off a little bit of light for sure.
Well, the dark is not an issue for me, but I was just curious.
Yeah. So which one is the next victim?
Yeah, I wonder because there is something very weird going on here.
No, I mean, come on.
So I wonder if he would. Go about here and can I see the jester's face, or is he turned away?
You could see it. Let's see here. It is a older jester. The face is lined with age and weariness. You see that the nose has a slight red tinge that suggests his very heavily drinking habits. And he is knocked fairly out. He is snoring heavily and very limp.
Well, a thing I have learned that you can do to determine if someone is sleeping, I'm gonna lean in and I'm just gonna blow air on just onto his eyes. If they twitch, he is fully awake.
Yeah, you see, there is like no movement at all. He is reeking as you're moving in of this like simple, earthy ale that was served.
Let's try and open the chest by him.
And you open the chest within, and similar to the first chest, there's just pillows racked and some bed sheets and blankets. Almost as if it's never been touched.
I'm just gonna look over at the other bed. Is the scepter looking at me?
No, it's like faced up. As it's laying on its back, so to speak.
Is there any drapery for the window?
Yeah, green, fairly thick wool drapes. You see a small, like, light wind making it wave slightly. So you're guessing that the window is ajar, but not much.
But they are closed.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't see out, you can't see in.
Well, here we go. Open sesame.
Mm-hmm. You open it slowly up, and you see the same backpack that he had, or Beth kicked on moments ago or before. It's in this chest, and it's been kind of just closed up normally with a simple just strap.
I'm curious. The third bed. Would the pillow from that fit inside this bag?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm gonna open the bag. Just look and see what's in it.
You see several books that have been tossed together. You see a dagger with a sheath that is sheeted, and you see a nicely like formed bundle. Looks to be some sort of ration food, crumbling bread ish. That's about it.
I'll take out each book in turn and just look at the cover, the spine, and just put them in a pile.
Yeah. As you look at the books, there are three. Two of them haven't been touched. They are new, completely new, really nicely done. But one has a sort of simple leather cover, and inside the book that was is probably almost falling apart, but is held up by this leather cover.
But no title and nothing.
No, until you start to open the leather cover, maybe. So it's almost as a bag that holds the whole book together, like a cover wrapped around.
I'm gonna open the other book stuck in the middle, see if there's anything written.
Nothing at all. And as you were looking, there were no ink, there were no pens or anything. So there is a small question mark even there. But they are new books.
Okay, I'm gonna open the leather-bound one in the middle.
And as you do, the pages almost start to fall out. It looks as if they have a writing of where to go, pictures of something resembling sketches of buildings, mountains in the background. Journal mixed with um, fact facts and where things are.
Okay. I'm gonna put the new books back in. Close it up. Close the chest. And with the one that's falling apart, we're gonna tiptoe back out.
All right. Yeah, you take that one back, or with you, rather, and you make your way back into the room, and What have Beth been doing for like a couple of minutes?
I just would have been working with Nibbles, trying to teach him how to crawl.
Mm-hmm. And you see that Ebonheart comes back into the room very quietly, almost to the point where you can't even hear it.
I just sort of reach in and I put the book on the ground. And then I disappear out again.
I go over for the newest book. Go back over here, set it up on the bed really quick, and then go back to working with Nibbles really quick.
Point of order. I'm gonna lock this door again behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one.
You unlock it. And you see the adventurer curled up under blankets. A small fireplace is about to end. And he is not really snoring, but it's definitely a person who's sleeping. And here you see that there is a section where he has like a bag section with like a lot of stuff tossed into a simple sack almost.
Just gonna look over the pile, see if I can spot the map and the notes in the pile somewhere.
Yes, you do see that there is a map that have been rolled up and like a string that kind of goes around it in the middle.
Yeah, we're gonna undo it and just see what's on this.
You look up and it's a very simply drawn map. It is several like skull marks out into the wasteland ish, and on them he has put down prison question mark. And the place you are at is definitely part of um, the map as well, at the very lower section of it. And there is a bigger, probably city like north of here.
All right, I am going to pull out the mirror, a small mirror, and I'm gonna flip it over, and on the back side of it, I'm gonna use chalk to make a small copy of this map.
Right. I will then info. Let's call it Adventurer's Map. And I will add a map. It will be an image. And choose the image. Select, save. And we can kind of show it to everyone. It doesn't really matter. So you are roughly underneath Hessenmark. You're like Hollowmoor is underneath the text there.
All right. I will roll it up, tie it up, and put it back in the pile.
Pile of goodies.
Just gonna look and see if there's maybe a pouch.
Yeah, there is his traveler's pouch of coins and whatever is in it.
Just gonna gauge if it's a lot of money or if it's some money.
We can have a little bit of a gander. It's a very little pouch. It only has a meager 9 silver in it. He's on his wit's end.
Well, maybe he can live another day or two.
So you take it?
No. Put that back where we found it, and we will exfil.
Mm-hmm.
Anything of interest?
Flip over the mirror. We got a copy of the map. If maybe you have I don't know, something bigger too. Put it on.
Looking through the two books that we now have, is there an empty page on one of those that we could maybe use?
You could, yeah.
Yeah, I'd take the empty page, consider if it's loose, and use that to copy the map onto.
Well, he has already made a copy. This is a copy of it.
Yeah, he wanted like a bigger version.
Yeah, because I don't want to keep the map on the back of my mirror.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. So it's like a crudely done map. It's not like an intricate design or anything. So that is being done fairly quickly. And that's where we will look into the downtime action for you guys. What will be, if anything, that you want to do, and be a downtime? If you look at the character sheet, you do have study at the very stat first page, right? you can choose to do whatever you want with the character to improve either a attribute, a skill you want to be better in, magic if you have spells or magic school, um, and even starting to find a new path in life, choosing a new sort of class. However, to do that, you need to be presented with one, but you could, meaning that you could go to a monastery to learn to become like a knight or whatever. And for Beth, maybe trying to learn tricks to the familiar. So that's all up to you. You just type is what you want to do. If it's a skill, you write the skill name. If it's an attribute, you write the attribute name. And you choose which one it is on the drop down menu. And then you just click roll. This is also where you could try to do something over the night. You can also just heal and rest. Heal and rest will then give you more healing points back rather than just the normal one per night. You could improve social things or try to spy on things or so forth. You won't, if you do something else rather than resting, you won't get more than a heal back. So if you are then sitting up a little bit extra to teach the dog to do tricks, that's what you do. And then you go to bed and sleep normally. Okay. But if you really go for, I want to have a long sleep and I want to take care of myself, then you will get your first healing point, but also the healing you get from the bonus in endurance. Some have more than 1 point, others have even rollable dice to kind of have. So, Redix, what do you want to do? Train, study, or do an action over the night?
I'm going to study.
So write it in and so forth and just hit roll.
Nice.
And this will be every night. You will be able to kind of do these rolls. And as soon as you have got to a total sum of 100, you will improve 1 point. Instead of having XP or levels, this is the way to kind of move up. And if you're traveling far, if you're doing like a week of traveling, you will have 7 rolls that you can continuously like just roll for. So it is a 1 per night sort of downtime thing. There is multiple things that you can put on. You can kind of like study a certain thing. You could spy on a certain thing. And it'll be so that you could have multiple things going for you. You can also, at a certain time, get the benefit of teaching each other stuff. So if Beth, in this case, would have a higher skill in observation, she could teach Evanhart how to observe, sort of thing. They could teach or study together, train together. But if the person has a lower or the same, you can't really teach anyone. You can teach more stuff than the person already know, right? But yeah, that's the first step. 6 out of 100. So calculating it, saying that 5 points is average on a D10, plus a little bit of change on knowledge, it'll take you like a certain couple of weeks to improve anything really in a study train. Vamp, what did you want to do?
I want to practice and study my flesh crafting on nipples.
So write in that and roll. that's the difference being like, even if you both rolled 4, Ebonheart got 6. That's your knowledge modifier in studying, where Beth has a little bit better, so you got 8. Yeah, that's the downtime. Quick and easy. Coming up to the next morning, any of you are light and up early? Or do you guys want to be the ones who sleeps in? For Ebonheart, there are both those that have taken on the customs of more the human village, city dwelling life, and made it so that elves do sleep. And there are those that keep the sort of just trance state and basically meditate through the night. So it's up to you to kind of choose which style is adopted or kept true.
I guess I'll go ahead and get up for the day.
Mm-hmm. And for Ebonheart, what kind of style is being adopted, or how would he sleep or meditate?
Probably just sitting in the dark, unmoving, and just existing. Kind of that dancing, that line between being asleep and being awake, where you can't really sort of hear or smell or see anything from being awake, but you can't dream anything either. It's just a nothing until he comes back again.
Yeah. Here you definitely hear how the barkeep is starting to wake up. The jester still snores. Most people are still sleeping. The equivalent would be around 5 in the morning, very early. Um, but you guys seem to find a way to wake up anyway.
Yeah, before you go downstairs, I'd like to look through the second book. I never looked through it last night.
Yeah, and as noted, there is this just cover or like a holder for all the pages that is falling apart. There isn't really a book per se, but collectively put together as a book.
Mhm.
And you see that most of it is a sort of notion towards grand castles, like really Gothic inspired castles. And these castles seems to emit some sort of life. And in it all, Melgorians are mentioned. You know that there is a lineage called half Melgorians, but not like true or just Melgorians as a name for anyone. So it's a weird kind of notion that there isn't just the half, there is actually a true form of these people. and it's noted to be these castles spread out, and there is a notion about them being a sort of link together, castle to castle.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead, close that one up, stuff it in my pack with the other one. Shove Mr. Nibbles in my backpack as well. And any idea what we should do? Should we get a quick breakfast and then head out looking for the horse thief? Or do you think we need to investigate around here further? Personally, I kind of feel like we shouldn't be here when those two realize things might be missing.
Well, maybe we don't, you know, don't be here when the jester wakes up. At least that's assuming he realizes what's happened.
He was pretty out of it last night, so it might take him a while at least.
Well, the map man isn't missing anything, so that's not going to be an issue. But
Yeah, he won't be any trouble. But he's also the guy who had the horse stolen. Did we want to try and find it really quick? Or I'm not gonna lie, I'm rather interested in this map. I kind of want to find out more about it. Then again, that Jester did say some really interesting things. I almost wonder if he'd be saying anything else this morning.
that is it's a good point. Maybe they're, a little more coherent now. Just gotta hope they don't realize what's happened and start pointing fingers. But we can wait around if you want to see what happens.
Any of the pages are written on in the second book from the Jester?
What did you ask? What the pages?
How many of them have been written on?
Almost all of them. Making a further note, these are pages that have been stitched together, forming a book previously now falling apart, made of some sort of skin.
Is there any chance that there'd be a way that I could take the pages that have been written on out of the book and just leave behind the pages that don't have writing on them?
Yeah, you could, but it would
I-
definitely be shown or noticed. But you could.
Yeah, I would like to do that really quick, and then hand the the leather wrapping that formerly went around the book back to Evan Hart. We could always just cover our tracks. You could put this in the adventurer's room. I mean, you managed to get in there easy enough. Think you could do it again? Plan it on him. Jester notices something gone. Just so happened that we saw him outside of the Jester's room last night.
Have we heard the map man waking up yet?
You're guessing no one is up yet. No.
I like the idea. I'm gonna have another look. See. Yeah, but, you know, be a little creep and peep through the keyhole.
You definitely see that he is still asleep.
Risky. I like it. Yeah, let's open this quiet like.
And yeah, you see that the adventurer is still under the blankets, still like half asleep, or half asleep. He's asleep. The fireplace has now just embers left. There is a slight warmth to the room. And you tiptoe in. And where do you plant said book?
So this chair right here that's sort of tucked beneath the table. I'm gonna put the leather wrappings on the seat, so unless you pull the chair out from underneath the table, you can't see them.
All right. Yeah. I'll do Jester first book. Not further book. There we go. So you plant it there, and then you leave quietly. And as you two find each other being fairly happy on the sort of thing that you have done so far, there is a heavy motion of sounds coming from the outside. Several hooves coming from horses. Something being dragged like a cart behind it.
Taking a peek out the window.
Yeah.
Can I see it from this angle, or?
Well, definitely. The drapes you can kind of separate a little bit and peek. You see 5 to 6, maybe even more horses that are more like grand in size, slowly just trotting forward. Behind is a fairly fixated, fortified cart. And these are the inquisitors taking a prisoner to a unknown location. This is known to anyone who's wielded magic, that the Inquisitors are the sheriffs of magic. If you're using magic wrongly or not complying, showing that you are a magic wielder by uh, able to show the scars that magic do on your underarms, you're taking in without questioning. Probably tortured or um, um, put through immense pain to either try a filled series of steps to drain you of your magic power. These are riding through the village into the unknown that lies in the newly discovered, so to speak, lands beyond. They're not stopping. They're not riding quickly either, but they're not going to stop here.
Are they going to the north, like the prisons in the map are shown as being?
Probably, maybe.
Cool. Interesting. I definitely close the curtains quickly and duck back so that hopefully they didn't see us peeking through.
Yeah. Even though you have abided by the ways of wielding magic, even a inquisitor being close feels unease. Um, they have high power from the magistrates, even beyond the nobles. They have been like known to drag people out and no one really being able to stop them. They have a very high set power with them, often traveling with like magistrates that can kind of dictate law. You also know of inquisitors that have come to cities, towns, and villages, even, and basically set up their own operation and said, "We are law," and no one can do anything about it. And being a magic wielder, it's eerie to understand that they work without any sort of hesitation. But as long as you show that you are a magic user when asked by them, and you don't get pointed using magic wrongly, nothing comes out of them. And there is nothing that is like specific to a specific school of magic. People who have delved into necromancy or other darker arts, blood magic or whatever, um, they are not prosecuted or followed in a specific way. It's more what you do with your magic. The only magic that you know of that is really, really targeted is the ones who dabble into the demons, the demonology.
Okay.
But you close the drapes and look at Ebonheart.
Maybe we should stay inside for a little bit longer.
That bad, eh?
Inquisitors, always the greatest of people.
I wonder what they're gonna do with whoever it is. I'll bet you 5 silver is gonna be a bonfire.
I don't know. Hanging, my thought. Yeah, I think a hanging.
And the worst treatment is the um, poling with metal poles. Iron is the only real true metal that, for some odd reason, just neglects magic all in all. And people have been said to be put on poles that are made out of these metal, uh, iron, and slowly but steadily just draining their own life and magic.
Like
And
like
put,
impalement or
yeah, impalement.
okay. Sorry.
No, no. And put as like an example. Um, yeah, but they are slowly moving through. And that's also when you all hear, both of you, like a thud and a movement, like someone is really moving around quickly. And it's not the jester, it's the adventurer who stumbles out of bed quickly.
I guess I kind of go up here and kind of press my ear to the door. Do we hear anything else? Like, is he talking? Did he fall over? Or
He is tumbling around. The door is being opened. And you both hear like naked feet moving on the very wooden floor, almost like sprinting. Tot, 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 tot.
Oh, I think he might be in a little bit of trouble.
what? Did we hear the door like shut behind him?
No, but you hear him running like through the tavern. He's
Uh,
on his way down the stairs.
okay. Yeah. Once it sounds like he's reached the bottom of the stairs, I'm going to like peek my head out of the door and see if there's like anything up with his room to see why he exactly would go running off.
Mm-hmm. You peek around. It's hard to say. He took whatever he was carrying, and you hear him really fumbling down the very steps. He's eager to get out.
That's odd. Um, I guess I will. Oh, there we go. I guess I'll like walk out into the hall. I won't directly go into his room, but does it look like he left anything behind?
No, not really. Maybe a mug or two, but there's nothing that he was kind of carrying what he was carrying. There wasn't much, um, and he has taken that one and just bolted off. Maybe a shirt lays on the very floor to show the very quick run that he did.
Nobody else is like out and about still,
No,
right?
no.
I will really quickly go in the room, snatch up the shirt, and stick it in my bag really quick.
Mm-hmm. And Ebonheart, what will you do?
I'm looking at both stealing a used shirt for some reason. I'm just going. Okay.
There's a reason. Don't worry. I'm not some weirdo. um. After that, though, I guess I will. I guess I'll gather up my things really quick,
Mhm.
just in my backpack, throw it on, and then head downstairs to see.
You can stand on the upper level where you
Oh,
are.
that's
There's
right.
like a balcony.
I keep forgetting that. I don't know how, but I do. Yeah, so I just go over to the balcony, peer down,
You see that he
do like,
stands by the window, and on the table next to him, he has started to make notes. He's looking at the group of people of inquisitors that are traveling through the village. He's not eager to get out. He's eager to watch.
thing. Hmm.
And as so, he's also slowly putting like his boots on, readying his belt, slowly putting the gear back on. But focus is looking out the window.
Yeah, I guess I will go ahead and like slowly make my way downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like as I get to the base of the stairs, I'm just gonna pause for a second, yawn, and see if I can like is his back to the stairs or is he facing the stairs?
He is.
Like for some reason I'm assuming he's at the table he was at last night.
Yeah, his left side would be towards you. Where is the?
So he's not facing me or he is facing me.
His shoulder is facing you.
Okay. Yeah, and then just as I get to the stairs, I want to see if I can see what exactly it is that he's writing down
I think
as I
if
seem
you,
to stretch and yawn.
yeah, if you stand on it, you will get down. We'll skate adventurer on this one. Do you follow Webinart? Or do you stay up?
I'm gonna go out and just have a quick listen at our neighbor.
He's snoring.
Okay. The balcony just to go
Yeah, you
around
would
and
see Beth is standing at the like stairs leading down. So for you, it would be kind of like she would be here, yes, and the adventure would be. Oops, so that's not what I wanted. Would be kind of here.
we're gonna go all the way here. and just peek over the edge, see what he's doing.
Yes, we will activate the first one. So you do get the idea that you're kind of like observing from above. And he is kind of looking on this. That's not going to look good. He's looking out the window this way, at least. So he's looking out this window. So it would be sort of this direction. And Beth, as you stand close and you're looking over what he's writing, you definitely see him writing, and this is what the Emnart is also seeing. He's writing down the composition of the Inquisitors, how many they are, what kind of armor they are wearing, and stuff like that. And very like quickly making a notion on how everyone is traveling, how many horses are in the front and how many are sitting on the cart. And that is where we will leave us off for now. The first step into this unknown. Hope you guys had a good start quest.
Yes, I love it. I want to play more.
Was it as you were expecting it to be, Redix?
More or less, yeah. And I feel like maybe we should be, you know, good citizens of whatever the empire kingdom we are in, and report this unauthorized gathering of intelligence to the authorities.
Earning brownie points.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Really? I was not expecting to hear that.
But that'll probably give you some brownie points too, being in the
True.
in the goods with the Inquisitors.
I had actually thought we would be attempting to follow him if he left, which is I had grabbed the shirt so we could track him. But
yeah, everything
works,
is open for debate. I mean, they haven't traveled through yet, and he's still sketching down details on the composition of this Inquisitors prison transport. But yeah, I liked it. It was a nice slow pace into this very dark, very somber feel of people and where they lived.
I really have enjoyed it. I think it's interesting how many places like we can go to from this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I liked that we actually like got to sit there and roll for our study. That was really cool. I was excited to see how that went.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't wait to play again. Yes.
The next one is coming up next Sunday. We are all good for that, right?
Totally good.
And you Redix A-okay?
Yes, I believe so.
Mm-hmm. And I will send us off with that was good. I think that the next one will really be interesting too, to see where we will see the things you will do if you're actually going to do the good thing to tell the authorities, or if you're going to be tracking or killing off or whatever you want to do with the sort of scene there. Um, all the places are already fixed, so it's all up to you to kind of decide in which direction you want to go with it all. So it's fun to see, fun to see, and I hope I'll catch you all next time. But for now, we're ready to go to Kusumba. Have a good one, and bye bye bye. And we are